Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Early in the morning, and I am so pumped up to announce the first rod in our series. It is called the ACADIAN. Now I know you've seen the hints of these and the videos of these, but they are ready to go. But first I want to talk about a few things that kind of sets this rod apart. We have talked the whole time about creating a rod series that is built around live sonar. Now, being that said, we're not going to put out like worm rods and things like that, because that is not something that I do. And JB3 and Britton Boyd already have perfect rods for those. So doing that would just be falling in line with what other companies do. You know, everybody's got their same worm rod, their same jig rod, and things like that. So why would I be taking something that Britton has already created and perfected, and he's got available on the JB3 website? What I have created with the help of Britton, I came up with a wonderful idea, and he made my dreams come true. The first rod we're going to talk about is the ACADIAN. Now, the ACADIAN rod, let me get this bait off of here. We're going to talk about a lot of the features of it. Of course, made in the USA, baby. But it's 6'9" and it has a fast tip. Now, it's a medium action rod with a fast tip. We wanted to build a rod that could handle chatterbaits around the trees, swim jigs around the trees, and those type of deals, the smaller 1.5 type square bills. But I wanted to create a rod that, for something that I love to throw, is like a Fritz side crankbait. It's very hard to find because that is a very, very light bait. It's very hard to find that rod that will throw that without letting the line down and those type of things. And trying to create a rod that would work from a chatterbait through a swim jig through a square bill was very, very hard. Britton worked so hard on it, and I believe we have created the absolute perfect rod. Now, one of the things that I required in this rod, or when I say required, asked him to build, was I wanted a delayed response in how they acted. The sensitivity, muting that sensitivity, because I believe that rods have got so sensitive that at times, especially with the advent of live sonar, we are literally pulling it out of the fish's mouth before they get it. And so, especially with chatterbaits, because of the way a chatterbait is made, let me get it off. A chatterbait is made that sometimes when you set the hook, if you don't have that delay, you will actually open it the way the blade is done before the hook gets in there. So I got to thinking, and I said, with me seeing most all the fish I catch, not only should a chatterbait be like that, but I believe it all should be like that. That square bills, those swim jigs, just to allow that a little bit of delay, to allow my eyes, because I'm seeing it on the screen, to, by the time I feel it, it's that split second. It's nothing changes in the style of your fishing, but it's going to increase in better hookups and less lost fish because of the actions of the rod. They're a little softer. They've got, they've got a little bit shorter handles as compared. When I say a little bit, we're not talking about 10 inches shorter. We're talking about an inch, inch and a half shorter in the areas. And so that will allow you to get a more accurate cast, because a lot of these are target. This specific series, this specific rod is target oriented, throwing around cypress trees, stumps, grasses, and things like that. It is the perfect rod for target oriented cast with chatterbaits, small crankbaits, and things like that. It still has the backbone and the power to be able to get them out, but it has that action in that tip that it's going to allow you to fight the fish and make solid, accurate casts, and that's what we're all about. Made in America, built right over there in College Station, Texas. I know for an LSU boy, that's tough to say now, He said, you know, we're going to be touring the facility and doing some fishing with him soon. We went with EVA foam, EVA foam grips, just to keep, you know, to keep the correct weight. Exposed blanks, of course, you know, so you got it right here on the back side right here. And, you know, those are all staples of great rods, but the little attention to detail, and I want to show you this. Right here at the top, this is where a normal rod has its last eye. You have your tip and you have your last eye. But this little piece right here, it's 1.5 inches from the tip. That is as an eye that he has added because of the way the tip, the way we've softened these tips up. If you don't add that little eye, the line will want to rub the blank. And that is the small attention to detail that we have worked so hard. So over the next 4 or 5 days, I'm going to be, we got 4 rods that we're coming and releasing first. And these rods, the great thing is these rods aren't just meant for the species, I mean the technique that I'm talking about. When you're talking about throwing a pop R, the small lightweight pop Rs, this is it. This is the perfect bait. When you're talking about throwing jerk baits, one of the things that when I throw a jerk bait, it's so hard to find a rod that has the flexibility but able to cast it. Here in the South, we throw a lot of rogues and jerk baits around trees. But you can't cast it with a regular jerkbait rod because the rod is too stiff. Therefore, you hook your cast either to the left or right, depending on the hand you are. So that makes it very, very hard to throw the baits that you possibly need. So we've created a rod that you ain't gotta guess so much. You know it has the action to throw lighter baits, but it still has the backbone to fight them. But it, you know, it has that tip that allows you to cast it. It has the proper length butt section. That way you can cast it and not get hung up in your hoodies and things like that. So this rod is going to be multifaceted rod. And you'll be able to get one rod and cover 3 or 4 situations. You know, if you stop throwing a chatterbait or you want to throw that pop R in the morning, you don't have to buy 46,000 rods to cover it. You can do it with a series that has 4 or 5 rods in it, and that will cover just about every situation. So this rod, very, very proud of it. The ACADIAN, it will go on the website today, and they are ready to be made. Now, these are custom made to order rods, so they'll take a few days to make and ship. And as we get more and more of these done, then it will go from a less of a custom order of custom made to ready to ship as we get into a production type phase. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm so pumped about this rod. We'll be talking about this rod and a lot of the fishing that's coming because this season is here. It's coming. And we'll be throwing red ones. We'll be throwing white ones. We're throwing the square bills. And you know how I am about targeting fish on these trees. And it's going to be allowing me to be perfect and be accurate with the cast. And the more accurate you are, the more efficient you are. It's just going to be great all the way around. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Let's get it in there. Hold on, let's get in there. I've never been more pumped in my life. That's right. I know it may look backwards on the camera, but ACADIAN and the double G. The double G ain't never backwards, baby. Ring the bell.